everyone, Trevor here with Tag Performance and Nutrition, and I've had some questions recently on the RPE scale and what is it and how do I use it and why would we use it in training. So let's kind of get into it first. So there's different ways you can train. A lot of you have maybe heard of like percentage training. And that's basically lifting. So let's take your squat, for example. So you're squatting, today's squat is set at 3 sets of 5 at 80% of your squat max. So you're going to take your squat max, either your overall 1 rep max, times that by 0.8 to get the amount of weight you're going to do for those sets of 5. Or if you're doing like your training max, which is usually like 10% or so less than your actual 1 rep max, and then you're going to take 80% of that number and get your weight. So percentage training can be beneficial, and I've used it with clients, but there are points when you don't necessarily use it and it's not the best idea, and that could come with auto regulation because you're not always going to be at 100% when you're going into training. Think about it. Think of everything you have going on in your life, from the stresses from work, from family life, from school, from whatever it may be. Everything you do in life is a stressor. That includes training, that includes eating. So you're not always going to have the perfect night of sleep. You're not always going to be motivated and energized to train. So that could be a problem when you're only using percentage training. If you are only coming in, say you got that 80%, 3 sets of 5 or 4 sets of 5, whatever it is on that squat, and you look at that and that's 80%, you got to use 80% of your max for each one of those reps. And you're coming in, you're dog tired, you're up super late chasing the kids around, kids wouldn't go to sleep and just did not get a perfect night of sleep. And then you come in and you see, oh, I got to get that exact amount of reps with that exact amount of weight. And by the time that final set hits, you can't do it. You have nothing left. You're just burnt out and just dead. So this is where auto-regulation training comes in, and basically when I say auto-regulation, it means adjusting to how you are feeling at each given day, because knowing you're not going to be 100% every day. Training takes a lot out of you. Stress from work takes a lot out of you. Stress from family life takes a lot out of you. So it's adjusting those things and managing those things to make it the best, and that's where I like to use auto-regulation, adjusting, and the RPE scale. And RPE stands for rate of perceived exertion. So basically, it is a 1 to 10 scale on the intensity of an activity. And I work with clients to help teach them this so they can better adjust and better auto-regulate their own training. So if we start at the top, let's start at 10. So 10 is the highest. That's all out. That's like our max effort work. So if you're thinking of it, this is like that super heavy, your max effort squat or full out sprinting. You just do it. You finally complete it, push through it. It's tough. You're out of breath and you kind of hands on the knees, that type of thing. So that's that all effort, max effort, full out sprint, full out squat. That would be 10. So then 9 is high effort, but not as, so maybe you could go another rep or something like that, but it is still high effort. So, and as we're going down, we're coming down the scale, think 7 to 8, still this is higher effort, but not quite as high. So think with this 7 to 8, this is where a lot of the training is a good range to train in on, like your supplemental, your accessory work, just because you're gonna think, or even on your main lift, but think of it as you're leaving a couple reps in the tank. You're gonna have great form, and we always want great form with all of our lifting, but obviously you might be struggling when you're coming out of a squat with that super heavy, and it's just a struggle going up. But as we get into 7 or 8, you should be completing all these reps. They're gonna be tough, but think of maybe like 2 to 3 reps left in the tank, something like that. It's a good judge of things, whereas you could, if you had to, complete more, but this is a good judge there. 4 to 6, this is our medium range. Think are more of our, I'm trying to think of like maybe like conditioning, some lower conditioning days, maybe some aerobic conditioning. Think it's tough, but you can do it for a sustained amount of time. You can hold a conversation while you're doing it. You're not hands on knees breathing. You're breathing comfortably. So think of able to hold a conversation, but still go hard. And then 1, 2, and 3, that's definitely our lower intensity. So 2 to 3, able to hold a conversation, you're not breathing hard. 1, that's barely doing anything, that's getting up, walking around the house, going for a light walk, maybe. 2 to 3 maybe be a little higher paced walk, but 1, it's not doing much anything, it's not exerting much energy, but it's more than just sitting on the couch and watching TV. So the rated RPE scale is used in that auto regulation because it can be used on each given day. So what a 7 to 8 on one day could be different from a 7 to 8 on another day as far as your weight. So say we're doing some split squats. So one day feeling good, a 7 to 8, you can get maybe, let's say we got 50 pounds on each hand that day. That's tough, but you would be able to do a few more reps on if you necessarily had to do it. But you're doing your split squats, 50 pounds in each hand, 50-pound dumbbell in each hand. You complete that, you feel good, you got a good workout, and you feel like you worked hard, you're breathing hard and heavy, but you still have some left in the tank. Whereas that 7 to 8 on another day where you didn't get as much sleep, you're tired, you're worn out, could be meaning 40-pound dumbbells or 30-pound dumbbells. So we're adjusting as we go, as we feel, on how we feel each day. We're not necessarily putting it on a percentage, and that's where percentage training can have some downfalls, where you're always having to do that percentage, but you are not up to the level of readiness and things like that. And people, I used to do this a lot, over judge and just always have to hit a certain weight or certain percentage rather than going by how they feel and auto-regulating and adjusting each day because of all those other factors that we talked about that play a role in our training and in our readiness for training that day. So the RPE scale, that 1 to 10 scale, is a good way to learn, a good way to help you adjust and work on your training each time you're in the gym rather than just going off a certain number or a certain percentage that you have to do that day. Go by how you feel. Use this scale to judge. Like I said, a weight this day could be a 7 or 8. Another day it could be a 9, depending on how you're feeling. And even as you progress and train, as you get stronger, as you get more efficient in each lift or training variation, what could be a 9 one time? Like say that 50 pounds split squats is a 9 for you, but then a couple months down the road, it's a 7. So as you get better, as you get stronger, as you get more powerful, these things can change too. But this scale, the RPE scale, is a great way to auto-regulate and make sure you are doing work that fits how you are feeling and how you are ready for each day. So if you guys have any questions on the RPE scale, feel free to comment below this video. Send me an email, trevor@tagpn.com, and make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube page for more great videos. Thanks, guys.